Visit Airtron.com for terms and conditions. Savings cannot be combined with any other promotion. License number TACLA 000-39898C.
KTFM Floresville. This is 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Your home for the Blitz. 2 to 6 on YouTube and always at sasportsstar.com. San Antonio's Sports Center.
Things getting iffy up in Arlington for the Astros. They have now fallen behind 4-2 in the bottom of the sixth inning. 2 outs. It looks like a pitching change is in order as Justin Verlander will leave. After giving up the league, the San Antonio Spurs wrap up the preseason tonight in the Bay Area against the Golden State Warriors. Tip-off is set for 9 o'clock. Coming up next, Extra Innings with Pleasure.
This is Extra Innings with Pleasure.
Truth is, I am Iron Man.
Rock and roll! The Texans win it!
You've been called the Da Vinci of our time. What do you say to that?
Absolutely ridiculous. I don't paint.
That goal is history! A walk-off home run!
And it's going to be legendary.
James Pledger wraps your day with insight, opinion, plenty of sarcasm, and of course, your calls. He'll even pour a beer out the door for his favorite story of the day. This is Extra Innings with Pledger. Now, here's Pledge.
What's up, Danger? Can't stop me now.
Welcome into Extra Innings with Pleasure right here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportsstar.com. I am James Pledger. Thanks for rolling with me as we get you set for high school football tonight. Smiths Valley Rangers, champion Chargers coming up pregame at the bottom of the hour at 6:30 here on San Antonio Sports Star, 94.1 FM, sasportsstar.com. Or if you're watching live like so many on YouTube, at SA Sports Star on YouTube. James Condor, Fred Robert Casares Jr., both already in the chat saying go Rangers. They've just taken the lead as Justin Verlander was run in the sixth inning with 2 outs after giving up a huge home run, as the Astros now trail this thing 4-2 with Hector Neris coming on in relief to try and get them out after Adolis Garcia's 3-run shot that cleared the bases. And now there are 2 on with 2 out in the bottom of the sixth inning. So we'll keep you apprised as to what's going with that right here on San Antonio Sports Star. So much going on this weekend, even though the Texans and Cowboys are on byes. The Cowboys can basically move into a tie for first in the entire NFC with a win. With losses by both the 49ers and the Dolphins this weekend. Or 49ers and Eagles. Eagles are playing the Dolphins on Sunday Night Football, a game you can actually catch right here on San Antonio Sports Star starting at 6:30 on Sunday night, brought to you by Flight by Yingling. Look, the Dolphins are going to be a very, very difficult check because, let's face it, the Dolphins' offense is extremely good. And Philly, to this point this season, although getting wins except for last week, they haven't looked good either. Much like the Cowboys at 4-2. They're 4-2, but it's been ugly. They've had a couple of pretty wins because the defense carried them early in the season. But the offense has been stuck in neutral since the season started. They haven't had one game to where you look at it and go, that was a great offensive performance by the Dallas Cowboys. No, they've done what they had to all season long. The only team that's looked good was Cisco in the NFC, and they just laid a stinker up in Cleveland last weekend. And now, if the Finns beat Philly, which I predict will happen on Sunday Night Football because you've got 2 legit MVP candidates going in there and an offense that's peaking against the defense that is still trying to find themselves. And then on Monday Night Football, you've got the 49ers and Vikings. And the 49ers didn't look sharp last week against Cleveland. And if we know one thing, the Vikings are at least really good at keeping games close to where it's going to be a contest at the end. And if they don't have McCaffrey and if they don't have Debo, can they put up the points? Or will San Francisco's defense run rampant all over the Minnesota Vikings and just make Kirk Cousins' night a living hell? James on our YouTube Live says, primetime Cousins, though. And that's a real thing. It is. He has struggled in primetime games. But there's also Purdy without weapons. So which one do we trust less? Purdy without weapons or primetime Kirk? We have a larger sample size of primetime Kirk, that's for sure. All I'm saying is that at the end of the weekend, there is the possibility that the Dallas Cowboys could just be tied atop the NFC at 4-2. When going into this with the 2 losses and Monday Night Football against Kellen Moore and the Chargers and the possibility of looking at back-to-back losses, you were afraid of falling out with the Eagles just finding ways to win and the 49ers looking as great as they did through the first 5 games. So the Cowboys, there is a situation where you feel really good about just being tied. And then you have the lone question mark in my mind more than anything that the Dallas Cowboys have done. Because I do believe they are built through their defense. And I do believe that defense is built to play with a lead. The problem is against good teams, you're not going to jump out to leads very often unless your offense is capable. And McCarthy's offense has looked incapable at times this season. And then we saw early in the game, a lot of motion, things look crisper, things look different. And then the second half, they go away from that because McCarthy's scared of pre-snap penalties, and that's his reasoning for cutting back on the motions. And McCarthy was on Mad Dog Radio on Sirius XM with Adam Shine, and he was talking about his play calling and having to rein himself in.
Oh, it definitely does, and I think it's a product of being the head coach and the play caller. Where I think before you just you press, and ebb and flow of the game. I think is really a variable that you got to learn to navigate, and there's a discipline to it. I mean, trust me, it's a lot harder to be conservative than be aggressive. I mean, everybody wants to be aggressive on Sundays. So, but yeah, the ebb and flow of that game was, like I said, it was herky jerky, as you said, bumpy. And it's like I said, it was a gritty win. It wasn't pretty, but by no means.
Gritty, not pretty, and it's harder to be conservative than aggressive. And maybe that's an issue. Maybe McCarthy's thinking too much about this. Maybe he's caught up in his own play calling, having been away from it for so long, because it is herky-jerky and it doesn't look great. And at the end of the half, I get it. 8 seconds left. You're scared of a penalty. Who cares? You're down inside the 20-yard line, so you get penalized 10 yards for a hold or 5 yards for a pre-snap penalty. What does it matter? You still had a timeout in your pocket, and you can still kick the field goal if Dak doesn't see anything and just dirts it or throws it away, or even if he gets sacked. The situation made no sense unless you just didn't trust Dak in a time-sensitive situation. I always like to say, when people tell you who they are, believe them. Or when they show you who they are, believe them. Mike McCarthy has showed us he doesn't believe. He's taken this thing so far back. He didn't believe in Kellen Moore, which is why he's out the door, and he doesn't believe in Dak Prescott. Or else he would trust him in certain situations late in the ball game, short 2-minute drill, whatever it may be. But everything comes with an excuse. the offensive line, the pre-snap penalties. Well, pre-snap penalties are on you, Mike. As a coach, and I had this conversation 2 years ago when San Francisco came into Dallas and kicked your butt. Pre-snap penalties were a thing there. The penalties were a thing then. And you kept saying, we'll fix it, we'll fix it, we'll fix it. And you never fixed it. And it came back and bit you in the playoffs. You got to get it right, Mike. And you got to take this offense off the chain. Because that defense is best suited to play with the lead. This being conservative early. Maybe it's about being aggressive early and conservative late. Build your lead and then sit on it and let your defense go to work, because that's how this team is built. This is Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. We've got Smithson Valley and Bernie coming up at the bottom of the hour. Jason Minix and Rudy J will have the call for you as we get you set. Currently, right now, we are in the top of the 7th inning. There is 1 out, 1 on for the Houston Astros with Marcio Dubon coming to the plate. We'll keep you apprised as to what's going on in this game. Maybe take a little listen in on it too, right here on Extra Innings with Pleasure on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
Here's what's on tap this weekend on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Saturday, it's a Big Ten showdown as Penn State battles Ohio State at 10:30. Then it's NL Championship Series Saturday night at 6:30. On Sunday, the Ravens tackle the Lions at 11 a.m., followed by the game of the week, the Dolphins and Eagles on Sunday Night Football at 6:30. And that's what's on tap this weekend on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star.
And now a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive.
And today, expect mostly sunny conditions with a high on life that can only come from cruising down the road on 2 wheels. Kids will wave, dogs will bark, and cyclists in padded shorts will instantly regret their chosen mode of transportation. Whereas you, on the other hand, will look super duper cool. Back to you in the studio.
This has been a special motorcycle weather report from Progressive, where every day's a beautiful day to ride with coverage from America's #1 motorcycle insurer. Get a quote today and see what you could save. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates.
Meet Bruce.
Hey there.
He's a busy soccer dad who's trying hard to learn the game.
Go for the end zone.
Whoops. Luckily, other things come easy, like banking with Chase. On a tip from his banker, he set up autosave in the Chase mobile app. So what are you saving for, Bruce?
Father-daughter soccer camp.
Smart bankers, convenient tools, one bank with the power of both. Visit chase.com/checking. Chase, make more of what's yours.
Autosave requires a Chase checking and savings account. Chase mobile app is available for select mobile devices. Message and data rates may apply. JP Morgan Chase Bank, N.A. member FDIC.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
The Golf Club of Texas has some of the best course conditions with the friendliest staff. The golf is great. They have a lighted driving range and practice area. While it feels like a country club, it's not a private club. It's open to the public, so bring the family into the 10 Cup Bar. It's the nicest sit-down restaurant in that area of SA, specializing in Texas food, wine, and spirits. For golf or dinner, go to Golf Club of Texas off Highway 90, online at golfclubtexas.com. The Golf Club of Texas, the friendliest golf course in Texas.
Smoker's Paradise, your premium smoke shop. Vaporizers, disposable e-cigarettes, hookah accessories, water pipes, cigars, and more. Now with 15 area locations, including the newest location at South Cross and Highway 37. Visit smokersparadise.com. Warning, this product contains nicotine. Nicotine is an addictive chemical.
This could be the start of a break-in.
Stop. This is Simply Safe.
Or the end of one. Introducing 24/7 Lifeguard Protection, only from Simply Safe. Now, monitoring agents can see and speak to intruders through our new indoor camera to help stop crime in real time and for fast police response. Get 20% off any new system with Fast Protect monitoring at simplysafe.com/radio. Advanced home security, 24/7 professional monitoring for less than $1 a day. There's no safe like Simply Safe.
Nothing slows my little girl down, except a stuffy nose.
Mommy.
That's why I use Sinex Children's Saline from Vicks. Sinex everyday stuffy noses with a gentle ultra-fine mist designed for kids. Just Sinex, breathe. Her stuffy nose is gone for now. And so is she.
Sinex Children's Saline. Sinex, breathe. Use as directed, keep out of reach of children.
Life moves fast. No one has time for a car, truck wreck, or commercial vehicle accident. At Davis Law Firm, we get it. When you call the force, you don't have to worry about insulting offers from insurance adjusters, property damage, or car rental. We recently settled a wrongful death case in a commercial vehicle accident for $5 million. Net to clients was $2.8 million. I'm Jeff Davis. If you were in a car, truck wreck, or hit by a commercial vehicle, call me at 444-4444. You got it. There's only one number to remember. 4. Attorney consultation by appointment only. Davis Law Firm, San Antonio. Davis Law Firm is a proud official partner, personal injury attorney of the San Antonio Spurs.
When traveling to see A&M in College Station, make sure you bring along the guys from 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. Listen anywhere on the iHeartRadio app.
Welcome back to Extra Innings with Pledger right here on 94.1 San Antonio Sports Star. I am James Pledger. Thanks for joining me. You can always catch the show 94.1 FM, sasportstar.com, or on our YouTube channel at SA Sports Star, any of our social medias at that point. Thanks for riding with me. Miguel Martinez, preach, pet, pledge, preach. Look, I'm calling it like I see it. I've seen this for 3 years now with the Dallas Cowboys. Last year, they looked like they had cleaned up the penalties finally. They're back, and it's a thing again. And that comes to discipline, and that comes to the head coach. I know, just down the road, the game we're covering tonight, you heard Jason and Joe talking about it. Smith Valley has a disciplined team. You know that's what you're getting when you play Smith Valley football, a team that's not going to hurt itself. Mike McCarthy teams dating back to his time in Green Bay have hurt themselves. They are usually in the upper echelon of penalties. And why is that a thing? Why? Why is he scared to use motion because of pre-snap penalties? Why is he simplifying his offense to a point where it is stagnant and eminently unwatchable? I've seen people in this chat on YouTube Live tweeting at me how predictable the Cowboys offense has become, to where sitting on your couch, you're like, I know what's coming. Last time we said that, it was Jason Garrett at the helm. We all saw how that ended. And Mike McCarthy, man, I know Kellen Moore is the meme from that game, but Mike McCarthy looks like he is anxiety-riddled calling plays, especially in big situations. He looks overwhelmed. Jerry Jones talked about the Dallas Cowboys pre-snap penalties a little bit earlier this afternoon on 105.3 The Fan.
Well, I really do believe that a sloppy game, one that's fraught with a lot of penalties, is very much like weather. And I think it helps the lesser team. That has no specificness to it, but I think it does, because it really, a lot of penalties could be called on every play. And we do, even we cringe when we see a penalty that didn't affect the play. And so we say, do we really want that? Since you really could look out there and just about get an interpretation on the call. So having said that, penalties are a big part of this thing. Generally, in a given game, if the officiating is what's good for the goose, good for the gander, is the same for both sides, offense, defense, then you really haven't had a game outcome change. And that one the other day, we all got it equal.
So, overly officiated games, penalties help the lesser team. Did he just go Micah Parsons on this and just say that the Chargers were the lesser team? And what does it matter if, when you say, I cringe when I see a penalty that didn't affect the play? So hold on the backside that didn't affect the play, you get upset when it's about. And I hear him talk about the grade he gives the Cowboys going into the first half. Yes, 4-2 is a great record. Yes, you're in a very good spot. Do I wish the Texans were at 4-2 instead of 3-3? I absolutely do.
I'd give it a good grade, a really good grade. Now, what is good? The coach's grade, a winning grade or losing grade. You don't have a percentage type grade. We do in scouting, we put a numerical number on it. But, of course, your coaches don't always grade the same way as the scouts and vice versa. And therein lies the eyes of the beholder. But you've got to give credit to the coach. He probably understands more of what he's trying to get done with the player against that opponent that week than our scouts do.
So not only does he give it a really good grade, but coaches grade a winning grade differently than scouts. They just grade it in wins and losses, while the scouts give it a numerical grade. So what I heard is Mike told me it was good. I haven't graded it. And I'm going with what Mike says. I want the Cowboys to be better, but there is something going on internally to where it feels like, and Texans fans will know what I'm saying about when I say this. Mike McCarthy kind of has a Jack Easterby feel to it in terms of how much power he is gaining within that building. He's gotten rid of Kellen Moore. It feels like he's gotten Jerry to buy in. The results aren't there. It feels like there's a disconnect with Dak Prescott for some reason, to where he doesn't trust him in situations and games by his actions, not by his words, by his actions. And I can only go by his actions. His words say he loves the guy, and that the media is too hard on him.
I love Dak Prescott as our quarterback. I think the way he's built all the way through, obviously his physical skill set is excellent, but what he endures mentally and emotionally compared to the other 31 is unique. I've never seen, and speaking on experience of being around great quarterbacks, I've never seen a quarterback under a microscope like he is. And just his consistency, and his personality and work ethic and how he handles all that and navigates all that, and he gets out and goes out and performs it every week. I think it's special what he has to endure.
It is. Dak is under more scrutiny than any quarterback that I have seen, period. End of story. And since Tony Romo got killed, half of the media loved him, half of them hated him. Half of Cowboys fans loved him, half of them hate him. Same thing with Dak Prescott. Dak Prescott is the new Tony Romo. And while I'm disappointed and underwhelmed with his play so far this year, I don't know if it's on Dak, because I've seen Dak play at a high level. Part of me feels like it's the play calling. Like Mike McCarthy's play calling is holding Dak Prescott back. And even Jerry said there's less on Dak's plate. The offensive line is taking care of his pre-snap reads.
Yeah, and I know this is both sides of your mouth. That's by degrees. So not quite that 1 year, offensive line the next. This thing has shades to it. Mm-hmm. But you do have the offensive line more responsible for pre-snap than they've been in the past during Dak's career.
Goldfinger123 is asking if I hated Romo. No, I like Romo. I like Romo as the player, and I like Romo as the broadcaster. I thought Romo caught way too much heat for those Cowboy teams. Those situations that he was thrust into, not all on him. He shouldered the load a lot. He covered up for a bad offensive line at times. He covered up for a bad defense at times. He covered up for horrible secondaries at times. Fred Casares Jr. says, Pledge, I'm starting to believe that the offensive line aren't comfortable with the new West Coast, Texas Coast blocking schemes. You may be right, because it doesn't look like it. High school football is coming up quickly at the bottom of the hour as Jason Minix and Rudy J will get you ready for the Smithson Valley Rangers as they take on the Bernie champion Chargers out in Bernie. That pregame coming up for that next right here on San Antonio Sports Star. This has been Extra Innings with Pleasure.
It's R&R in the morning.
Monday on R&R in the morning, we're joined at 7 a.m. by Todd Archer, ESPN Cowboys reporter. 9 a.m. Coach Trailer Road.